So, what's up, everybody? Getting all my chats pulled up here where I can see what everybody's doing, get everything all situated where I can talk to you guys today. Got four people in here. So, what are y'all up to today? Who we got in here today? Minnesota, Oliver, and Deer. I'm doing well. How about yourself? Olivers and deer. That's a weird combination. You like both colors of green, I reckon. Got Gordon in here. Hope hope you're having a good Sunday too, Gordon. My buddy from Nebraska, Matt Higgins. I like it when he comments on my I like it when you comment on my videos, Matt. I always like when you say your buddy from Nebraska. Uh just got back from working for one lonely farmer on his North Carolina straw job. How was that? I'm sure that was a big adventure. We got the butterbean farmer checking in with us. We just got started. We hadn't really talked about anything yet today. I guess I could tell what I done a couple of minutes ago or a couple of hours ago. We was I got through selling some hogs a couple of hours ago. I put an ad on Craigslist trying to sell some hogs, and somebody texted me, and it was a area code that I did not recognize, and I thought, well, normally when you get them. Normally, when you get them area codes from out of state, you really need to leave them alone. Well, but I thought, well, I got that ad for hogs on Craigslist, so I answered the text message there and said they was looking for two hogs, and they had a butcher date for this coming Tuesday. And well, it showed up. The person showed up with a red crew cab Duramax, about the same model as my Duramax, and a 3-horse slant horse trailer. And I thought, boy, this is going to be interesting. and it rolled down. I thought it was going to be a man. She rolled down the window, and it was a young lady there to buy some hogs. And she knew hogs and was very knowledgeable. And she backed that trailer up to the barn, and she done a good job backing it up. Pretty girl. She was a pretty girl, and she bought them two hogs from me. She had Illinois license plates, and I said, "Are you single?" I said, "Cause my brother." I said, "I'm looking for somebody like you for my brother. He needs him a good woman that knows how to work." But it was an interesting afternoon. She was a very nice young lady, and she bought them hogs from me and was very nonsense. You know how when you sell a lot of stuff on Craigslist, people want to ask you 100 questions about it. I had somebody message me about some hogs from Bales, Tennessee, and that's just right down the road. And they said they was coming to pick some up, and they never showed up. So that's the beauty. The internet and selling stuff online is a great tool, but it can also be a real pain in the butt. So I know most of y'all ain't in here to talk about hogs, but I thought that was an interesting story to start off our live chat. So what y'all want to talk about today? Y'all know how our live chats normally talk work. We talk about all things related to farming, machinery, equipment, uh, and I let y'all pick the topics and let y'all ask the questions, and we just talk about them. So y'all, uh, so y'all let me know what you want to talk about. Minnesota Oliver and Deer said that he had just went to work. had helped one lonely farmer on his job in North Carolina. So he's telling us about that. Said he was said he loved it. He said West runs long and hard. Have I used my new box blade? No, we have not used our new box blade yet. We probably will not have any jobs for it until fall when we start repairing fields after we shell corn. Normally we do the majority of our dirt work either in the spring or behind. Once we shell the corn off, we go into those fields, especially to fields that's going to wheat. We go in there and do what dirt work needs to be done. And but I am ready to use my uh I'm ready to use my new box blade. Uh Y'all know me, I run a lot of older stuff and hardly ever buy anything new, so it is fun when I actually get to buy something brand new. Jordan wants to know if we've been doing much spraying. We sprayed a little bit Wednesday. We sprayed some Roundup and then List One on some soybeans, and I just got through right before we went. I went to load them hogs up for that young lady. Uh, I went and checked where we done some spraying, and uh, it looks like that is working really well. Where I started out with the boom, I got some leaves crinkled on some beans. I don't know if something was hung a little bit in the booms or something. Shouldn't have been nothing in there to really done it. The last thing we sprayed before we sprayed Roundup and List, we sprayed some Roundup and First Rate on Robert's beans. He lost his camera with all this footage. I've uh, I've lost a camera before, and that's not a good thing when you lose your camera and all your footage. It kind of makes you sick at your stomach. But I finally did find. I found my camera. It was in the back of our gator, and I was able to use that footage. That was the video where I left a quick hitch down on my tractor and tore up the hydraulic hoses on the planter. And that was all the footage on it was where I tore up the planter. So, you know, this is a good time to mention, um, you know, we got a little downtime here and videos are slow. If there's any certain if you want to see a certain piece of equipment or may talk about a certain subject in an upcoming video, this is a great time to do that. Things are a little slow right now. I don't know if I'm gonna make any I don't know if I'm gonna do many spraying videos. Once you see me spray soybeans once, I mean that is pretty much the same thing again and again. But that's pretty much all we got to do right now is spray some soybeans and work on the combine has not started yet. We have been on the search for an excavator, and the kind we are looking for is like finding the needle in a haystack in our price range. So we're working on that. Gordon said he enjoyed our hee haw video. You know, our last, if anybody hadn't seen it, our last video was us using our John Deere Model A out in the garden mowing down corn stalks, and uh, I don't know why, but that idea just come to me. I was standing in the corn stalks filming Robert running the A, and I thought, this reminds me of the old Hee Haw skit where they jump up out of the corn and tell a joke. And I flagged Robert down. I said, get off the tractor. We're gonna make this video a little more interesting. I said, get off the tractor. We're gonna do. You remember them old Hee Haw skits? And he jumped. I got him off the tractor, and that's where we filmed our little Hee Haw skits. I didn't know. We got a lot of young. I knew the older people on our channel would get it, but we also have a lot of younger younger. Well, we got some kids that watch our channel, and I thought I didn't know if they would get it or not. But even if they didn't get that, it was a Hee Haw reference. Maybe they enjoyed it. All right, getting some questions now, and that's what I like. I like your questions, and I like to answer them. Says Wes wants to know if we use the auto guidance much in our tractors. We only have one tractor that has the auto guidance. If I'm in that tractor, I'm using the auto guidance, and that is, that's our planting tractor. We pull most of the time. We pull the corn planter and the drill with it. This spring we did run the corn planter and the drill at the same time. And Robert, when he was drilling with the 4650, you can kind of, run it. You can run it manually, and people done it for years. You can kind of tell where you're going with the drill, and the same thing on the corn planter. You can follow the marker, but he was using our old Outback 360. So he was using it. But if I'm in the planting tractor and got something hooked to it, and it's a situation where I can use it, I'm gonna use the auto steer. We bought we actually bought another easy steer, a little Trimble 250. We don't need nothing very fancy in it, and we are thinking about moving it back and forth between the combine and the John Deere 4650. So I'm hoping that, and I'm sorry that the light is fading in and out. I don't know why the camera on my laptop's doing that, but yeah, and my sprayer has auto steer in it. Love it. I would not want to run the sprayer at all without the auto steer. Earl wants to know if we've ever had a backhoe. No, I have never owned a backhoe. I have run a backhoe, and we have actually thought about buying a backhoe. Think it would be very handy, but to me, once you run an excavator, it's just, I don't know. You got to pull every time you want to move, you got to put your outriggers up and spin around, or you got to try to push yourself with the backhoe bucket. I'm not saying a backhoe is a bad thing, but once you've run an excavator, man, it just kind of spoils you, I think. Got Bailey Farms joining us. IP got a question there. I think I missed him a while ago. IP wants to know if my A has the factory top link set up. No, it don't. Actually, I'm pretty sure my whole 3-point is a aftermarket setup that somebody made for it, because a lot of it looks home built. They done a super good job on it, but I believe it's a aftermarket home built setup. They done a really good job on it, but I think they just fixed it where it hooked on to the rock shaft up there. But as far as I know, I think it's an aftermarket setup up there. But William wants to know if we're trying to get a big grain table for our combine or just a bigger combine. I mean, I'm not really looking for another combine. I just kind of been making jokes about it. I would like to find a little newer header. Our header is a 1992 model. I would like to find a 922F, and the F stands for full finger. It has fingers all the way down the auger, and that helps to reach out and pull the crop in better and helps it to feed better. We done a lot of work on my head. We still need to do some work to my header, but we actually worked on the auger last year, and I saw this suggestion on Ag Talk, and they said to take uh, lock washers and knock down on the flighting of your auger, and we done that, and man, that sun gun will eat stuff up now. The only thing about it I do not like about it is if you get in some dry beans, you get a little more threshing on the head. I do not like that part of it, but uh I would just like to find a newer header. You know, they quit making them. They made them 922 F series from like 2000 to 2003 in there, and then I think they went to the 600 series. I would really love to have a 622F, a Hydroflex platform to put on that combine, but it is going to take several dollars to convert that combine to be able to carry a 622F. So, and plus a 622F would cost as much as my combine. You know, those headers are bringing on the low side 15,000 and on the high side 25,000. And I don't really want to buy a header that costs more than my combine, even though if you really think about it, the header is one of the most important parts of your combine, because if you can't get it into the header and into the combine, what's good is the combine. Ricky Lee wants to know how our wheat is turning out. We've actually been done with wheat harvest for almost a month now. We got done with wheat harvest about the 14th of June, and it was the best wheat crop I have ever harvested. Uh, I hope it's a really. I hope we have another good wheat crop like it. I really, man, it really helped things out. It's about I ain't gonna lie, it's about 20,000 more dollars in the bank at the end of wheat harvest than I was expecting. So that goes a long way. Sarah wants to know if there is any update on t-shirts and hats. Okay, I'm working on that. It's probably gonna take me a month or so to get something going on the t-shirts and hats. I put out a poll, and there was about a hundred people that responded to the poll. And those, probably we was looking. I think last I figured up, we was looking at about like 50 t-shirts and like 75 hats. So, I'm trying to get with some people. Get a design together. And when I get a design together, I will do a video showing the t-shirt and the hat, what the design looks like, give y'all a rough estimate on what it'll cost. Because, a lot of people, uh, a lot of people, I want to make it as economical for y'all as I can and still provide y'all a good product. So I'm kind of going around taking bids, trying to get a design together, and trying to uh, trying to figure out a good way to pay for y'all to pay me. I don't want to. I don't really want to. I want to make a little on them, but I don't. But I want to give them to y'all because y'all support the channel. not give them to you, but I want y'all to help. I want to help y'all out on them because y'all support the channel and y'all have really made the channel what it is. So I want to make them as affordable for y'all as I can, and I'm trying to figure out on the best way for y'all to pay me. Somebody said Venmo. I don't even know what that is. I just prefer cash or check. Just mail to me. If y'all got any ideas on a good way for y'all to pay me or whatever, what y'all use, just let me know, please. Riley wants to know how I like the 8400 John Deere tractors. I love those tractors, man. I spent when I was working for another farmer. When I was working for the farmer before I went out on my own, I put lots of hours on a John Deere 8410. Man, great, great tractors. Y'all know how much I love my 4640s, but I think the 8000 series was the best tractors John Deere made, the early 8000 series. Run the 8120. 8120 was a really good tractor. My only fault, the 8120 was a little short on horsepower, but he put a box on it and it woke it put up good. Riley said get a Richardson 112 hat. Well, where's my Stein hat? I think my Stein hat's a Richardson hat. They are good hats. But IP Farm says he can't wait for some hats and t-shirts. And Butterbean says cash is best. That's right. I like cash. Wes wants to know if my combines had the 10 series updates or if it still uses the roller chains to attach the headers. Mine still uses the roller chains. I've thought about updating it, but I mean, the old roller chains has worked this many years and it's good. And some of the 10 updates include changing the corner post display. But I'm just not interested in doing that. That old combine, you get to change. It's it's performed and put a crop in for 30 something years like it is. I don't see much of a reason to go to changing a lot of stuff. Got Ricky Bradford in here with us. He says, what size track hoe are you looking for? I'm looking for a 15 to 18,000 pound machine, something similar to a Cat 307, Cat 308, Deere 75D. Uh, my buddy actually sent, and I was going to see if I could find it here on, and I ought not show it because some one of y'all might go buy it, but a Komatsu, I believe it's Komatsu PC78. Sounds like just what I want. It's an 18,000 pound machine. I want something that I can haul easily from farm to farm. Haul on my gooseneck trailer and not have to buy a low boy. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Well, nope, that's not it. I don't know where it is. It probably already sold. If you find something that you think's a pretty good deal, you better go look at it right then. Cause I was gonna try to show it to you, but it's all gone. I've been getting I'm on Facebook, uh, just Dylan Joyce or Joyce Brothers Farms. But man, I've been getting lots of friend requests here lately, and I kind of like it. It makes me feel good. Uh, yeah, right there, Komatsu, which it don't show up good. Komatsu PC78. That's about to. Let me read you stats. It's got 5,400 hours on it. Says main thing I'd like cab and air. I really want air. 24-inch bucket. I like the push blade on the front of them. Says 18,500 pound machine, and that's right on where I'm looking. It sounds like what I want, so we may go see about looking at it. M&J Farm says he's old fashioned and uses PayPal. I like PayPal. Had good luck with it over the years. Uh, Gordon wants to know if there's any chance of red hats. He sounds like old Thomas Farms now. He ought to know that there's not going to be any red hats. I'm thinking maybe like I don't know, gray hat or brown hat with John Deere tractor on it. I'd like to see if I couldn't get somebody to get one of my 4640s embroidered on it, and say Joyce Brothers, Dyer, Tennessee. You know, so that's what. So I don't know. I'm working on it. I'm gonna try to get y'all. I'm gonna try to get y'all design together and let y'all look at it and kind of take a vote on it. Ricky said a John Deere 35 wouldn't do the job you're looking for. Ricky, I've rented a Kubota U35 before. I've rented it, but when we rented the U35, we was just putting in pipes. A little Deere 35 would be great for that. I mean, it done a really good job for us putting in pipes. Um, but we also one of the jobs we're really wanting to use it for is we're wanting to go down all the fence lines and de-limb and I like my dad's farm over at Frog Jump. It's got like a 3 acres woods in there. I want to go in there, clean all the undergrowth out, all the small trees out, and then I got a buddy that's got a big machine, and then he can come in there and take the big trees down. So, you know, I'm needing something that is very versatile. IP Farm said a Kubota KX080. That would probably be my dream machine, but they have held their value really well. You know, I've looked at some. I actually priced a brand new one, and say I think right around 100,000. I think, and I just can't do that. I need to stay under 40 on that little deal. I would go up a little above that if I found just a real nice machine. Uh, so I got people voting on colors now. Got people voting on colors of what colors they want the hats. So, but yeah, y'all be sending me some more questions. Been getting some really good questions. I don't like to get to rambling, but yes, I mean I would love to have a Kubota KX080. I've spent I've normally my go-to rental machine is we've been renting a machine about a week in the spring and a week in the fall and week on in the fall and uh it's sorry I got sidetracked. But I've been renting a KX057 in about a week in the spring and a week in the fall, and it's just a really good all around machine. My only problem with the 57 is when you get to trying to mess with some trees, it's a little light, and I ain't hardly got to reach as high a reach as I want because sometimes I need just a little more to get that limb that's just a little higher. JD Green only. I'm with you. That's $5,600 on the KX080. I mean, I think they're great machines. Kind of already talked about it, but I really like John Deere 8400s. They're good tractors. So all right, guys, give me some questions here. Going back through my comments and looking to see if I missed anybody or anything. So where we had Melvin Oxford from Texas. I tried to say hello to everybody. Got High Singer Farms in here. Think he was said he was cutting some hay. So, but I'm waiting on some questions, guys. Send them on. Give us some more topics to talk about. Wes Tater wants to know: Do I harvest or do custom work for anybody else? Yes, I have one guy that he has a 19, well, actually a 38-inch row planter with splitters, 19-inch rows, and so. But when I started harvesting this crop for him, I had a 30-inch row corn header, so I plant all this corn for him, and he plants all his own beans, and then I harvest the corn and soybeans for him. Is typically normally right around 110 acres, I think. So I do some custom work, and if anybody needs some custom work done, I'm happy to do it. It's custom work is a good way to add some extra cash flow into the farm without getting more money tied up. M&J Farms wants to know if I've ever used any, let's just say, human manure, biosolids as fertilizer. No, I hadn't. I do have a landlord to get something from the local sewage treatment plant, and it's a real black color, and I guess it's the end product after they get done treating the water. He gets it up here from the Dyer sewage treatment plant, and he slung it out in the field. I ain't never got real near it, but he hadn't done that in several years since I took over since I took over working the ground. I don't know anything about it, and I am really unqualified to talk about that. Riley wants to know how the weather's been up here. Cloudy and rainy. We got really good soil moisture right now for this time of the year. I think it'll take us a long way into the fall. If we can keep this up, should have some really good corn yields. Should have some really good bean yields. You know, the bigger beans are blooming now, trying to set pods. We ain't got the pod fill yet, but we're blooming and setting pods. We really need some sunshine though. You can't get too many cloudy days. We need some sunshine. Says Butterbean Farmer said he's run a Kubota tractor since 2014 without any trouble. Knock on wood. I got a buddy that's running some Kubota tractors. I think he's had real good luck out of it. He had he bales a lot of hay. It seems like the guys running a lot of hay really like the Kubotas. Had a smaller New Holland tractor, and I think it gave some trouble, and he sent it down the road. What is your average corn yield in Tennessee? I think county average is 172. So, we kind of trend along at below or above. Past couple years it's been above, so I don't know how that compares with the rest of the country, but we can grow some really good corn in West Tennessee if we get the right conditions. I'm afraid I'm going to pronounce your name wrong. Is it Traylon? Traylon Williams wants to know how our double crop soybeans are doing. They actually look really pretty. I am really happy with our double crop soybeans. We got a good stand. They're coming along nicely. I'm hoping within a week they will come top the wheat straw and you won't be able to see anything but beans. You won't be able to see the wheat straw anymore. So I'm really happy with how the double crop beans look. We got to finish spraying them this week. We're actually leaving to go on vacation next week, or probably Sunday a week. So I don't know if there'll be a live stream next Sunday, but probably leaving to go on vacation. So we need to get them sprayed before we go on vacation this week. We've got to. It's kind of a segue into what's going on this week. Tomorrow we got to go get some corn fungicide rounded up because all the late planted corn, all the late May planted corn is due for some fungicide. And we have southern rust in the area and we need to get that out. It is critical that we get that out before it gets to us because southern rust will eat your butt in West Tennessee on late planted corn. And we are planning we hadn't made up our mind on the earlier planted corn. We may spray some of the varieties that are more susceptible to it, and the varieties that have better plant health might not get any. IP Farms wants to know if we're looking at replacing our sprayer next year. We did talk about replacing the sprayer. You know, we had lots of trouble this spring with sprayers. We believe that we have that situation. We believe we have that situation figured out and under control. The past couple times we have sprayed, it has worked flawlessly. Everything has done good. We got a parts sprayer now that we can get parts off of. And, with that part sprayer, we shouldn't have to be buying any parts. We got our old sprayer back running great, it's doing a good job. So I think, we was this close to trading. I had drove and looked at several sprayers, or I never drove and looked at them, but I was in the preliminary stages of going to look for a sprayer. But we think we have that situation handled. So, no, we will not be trading sprayers this year. We feel like that a track hoe or an excavator would benefit us more because it is getting to the point that, we hire, he's actually our buddy, but we hire him. And it's getting to the point we can make a payment on the track hoe. And between paying our buddy for his big track hoe and going and renting that Kubota, we're actually getting to the point where we can make a payment on a track hoe, and we would run a track hoe a whole lot more than what we do if we owned it. And I feel like it would benefit us more, because if we had one, we would be cleaning up and improving on our farm and thus improving the value of our farm. And I feel like that would just be a great investment. Gordon told IP that he needs to sneak his excavator home on the weekends. I'll agree. It's got to beat the old track loader. But Riley said it's been raining in Florida and they've been trying to cut hay. Aaron Skinner wants to know what's your opinion on renting land for farming, cash money rent, or partial on crop yield, which is better for the farmer. If you want to know which one is better for there's 100 different opinions, and I don't want to get in it too deep, but I do both cash rent and I do both. I cash rent and share rent. I If I can rent a farm at a reasonable cash rent, I have really become to like the cash rent. If I can rent it, Here's the way I look at it on cash rent. I know I've got a fixed expense. You know, if I can rent it reasonable, on an average year, I know I'm going to make money. And on a good year, I know I'm going to make a lot more money. And then on a bad year, I know I have the potential to lose money. But if I can rent ground at a reasonable price, I'd rather just cash rent it, and then I don't have to worry about the landlords trying to market their crop or me trying to market it for them. All that crop's mine. That gives me more bushels to market, and if I got more bushels to market, then I got the potential to make more money. Now on the cash rent side, the share rent side, I like it too. Uh, I and this may be some varying opinions. I really like 3/4 and a quarter land rent share because on the 3/4 and a quarter, I pay all the expenses and they just get a quarter of the crop, and that works out really well. I don't have to worry about up there at the co-op saying, "Well, this part goes to this person and this part goes to this person." A third and 2/3 is great because they're paying part of the fertilizer expenses, part of the lime and stuff, and that works good. But it's kind of a little more headache for me up there at the co-op when we're billing stuff out and stuff. But I like them all. There's pros and cons to every one of it. But me personally, if I can rent it reasonably, I'd rather cash rent. Because, like I said, I know I got a fixed expense right there, and I can kind of do my figuring and penciling toward it. Um, Wes wants to know how often do we pull soil samples on our field? Uh, it just depends. I've got some fields that where we push stuff really hard, and where landlords like to really be involved and make sure that their ground is being taken care of, and they like to see soil samples every year, to make sure I'm taking care of it. And I don't blame them. That's their farm, and they want it taken care of. So, we pull soil samples every year. But especially since we've started zone sampling, if you want to go back and watch one of my earlier videos from this winter. I think it's called Getting in the Zone or something. But we go and zone soil sample some ground. And now that we are getting into that, I'm probably looking at every other year on pulling soil samples. If there's a farm we got some kind of issue on, we may pull every year, and look at it uh, until we figure out the problem and if we've got it fixed or not. But right now, most everything's every other year. Um, Tom says he likes seeing our. He's asking if we still like our Montezuma toolboxes. Yes, I absolutely love them things. I know they was expensive, but I feel they was worth the money. This is no joke. The Montezuma, we had 2 Store Smart boxes. Store Smart's kind of a knockoff Montezuma box. There is a couple things I liked about them, but this is no joke. I took the stuff out of 2 Store Smart boxes and was able to put it in one Montezuma box because the Montezuma was laid out so much better. Um, I mean, I know it don't really look like a lot of stuff on our truck, but when you really get to looking, we have lots of tools and stuff on our tool truck, service truck, whatever you want to call it. We probably about the only thing that we really don't have on our service truck that a lot of people do is cutting torches and a welder. here's my thinking. I would like to get a gas powered welder and have a set of torches, but I would like to put them on their own separate trailer where I can just kind of back it into a corner of the shop. And, you know, more than likely, if you're going to need a torch and a welder, you're going to be down a little while. So, I mean, it ain't going to hurt you that much longer to run back to shop and get the torch and a welder. I just don't like having. I don't really want to have to tote torches and a welder around everywhere I go on my truck. We got the majority of everything we need on our truck, and I really like it. Harley wants to know if we have issues with stink bugs in our soybeans. We have in the past, but it's typically not a big deal. Sometimes you got to worry about. We've had problems with army worms, but typically not a huge issue. A lot of times with the fungicide, when we go over with the fungicide application, we will go over with an insecticide too and try to knock them stink bugs out because we don't want them clipping pods or eating the bean out of pods or anything like that. Aaron wants to know what Southern rust is. Southern rust is, I guess it's a fungus because you use the fungicide to control it. But it'll be, it's just it's exactly what it sounds like. When it'll get on the corn leaf and it'll be just like a red dust, and it looks like rust out there on the leaves, and it'll coat the top of the leaves. And that's what southern rust is. It's just a fungus. But when it gets on there, the plant starts shutting down, and the corn don't really. And I'm no scientist. This is Dylan Joyce's stripped down farmer version. I'm sure somebody could tell you better. But it's just a red fungus that gets on the leaves, looks like rust, it shuts the plants down and the corn don't never fully mature and you don't get the weight in your ear that you could have. I mean, I've seen times it knock 50, 60 bushels off your yield if you do not spray for it. So it is very critical that we get the plane lined up and put the fungicide out. And that's Dylan's stripped down version of Southern Rust. Uh, Matt wants to know if I've operated a 68 model John Deere 2020. No, I have never operated one of them. The closest I've ever got to one of them, I guess you would say, would be a John Deere 2630. I mean, it drove good and everything. I guess they all right little tractors, but I'd rather get up into the bigger American made John Deere tractors. I think those even back then, I think those was made overseas. Scotty wants to know how many acres we work. We work 800 acres. We got Greg with us. He's joining us. He's late to the show today, but yep. But Butterbean Farmer says he owns a 69 model John Deere 2020. I'd like to know what your opinion of it is. But I've never operated one. Ricky wants to know if we've hired an airplane to do our spraying. About the only time I will use an airplane, I'll hire an airplane to do my fungicide. Yes, I spray. The airplane does my fungicide for me, and that can get into a whole nother debate. Uh, there's guys. There's I don't know. I ain't getting into that debate on uh but for me it just makes sense to use a plane on the corn fungicide. Now there was one spring this will bring up another story. There was one spring I thought it was too wet to get over the ground, so I hired a plane to spread some fertilizer for me on my wheat, and he guy done work for me. The guy had done work for me before and done a fairly good job. But I don't know what his deal was that year, because one time he spread the wrong field. He spread a field, wasn't even no crop on it, and we gave him maps. But this time in particular, he really made me mad. I hired him to spread the wheat. Well, I get a call from a landlord. He says, "This plane has spread fertilizer over my house," and I thought he was messing around. And I was like, "Okay." I said, "I'll ride over and check it." And that guy that done the fertilizing with the plane, he had fertilizer all over his driveway, all over the roof of his house. And fertilizer's corrosive, and he had a metal roof. But anyways, he made the biggest darn mess you have ever seen. He put fertilizer everywhere but where it should have been. And I vowed up and down right then, that moment, I would never hire a plane again, and especially not that guy, to spread fertilizer on my wheat. I said, I'll track it that deep before I ever hire another plane to spread fertilizer for me. And I have held true to that statement so far. IP asked about us trading sprayers earlier. That is one reason I am so hesitant about trading sprayers, because I know if we trade sprayers, we are probably more than likely going to go to a John Deere sprayer, and they are very heavy. Our little sprayer, you can fill it full of 750 gallons of liquid nitrogen, and it's so light that Bruiser Hush. It's so light that you can almost go out there after 24 hours, after a 24 hours after rain and almost spray. It stands up great. It really stands up and does a good job. But getting back to my story, we had to go out there and blow his driveway off and sweep his driveway off, and I helped him. We got a water hose and washed all that fertilizer off his roof and out of his gutters. And I called that guy. I was like, "Look, man." Well, actually, his wife answered. I was like, "Look, man." I said, "Y'all made that a mess." I said, I'm not normally one to complain, but this is ridiculous. You all know better than dropping fertilizer on that man's house." And she said, "Well, what you want me to do about it?" And I said, "Well, you at least I'll knock a little bit off the bill." And she just laughed and hung up on me. Well, a little later, they sent me a bill. And I took the bill and I was like, "Okay, here's the bill." Well, I sat down and I made up my own bill for the time it took us to sweep off that driveway and wash that man's house. And I charged him $15 an hour. $15 an hour for me and $15 an hour for Robert. And I put that bill in an envelope. And then I wrote her the check for a difference. I still owed her money after I took, the time for our labor off. And I mailed him that bill. And that's the last I ever heard from him. So, but I just, boy, when she laughed at me and then hung up that phone on me. I have been known. Y'all don't see it much, but I have been known to have pretty bad temper. And I started to call her back, and I said, "No, there's a better way to handle this than that." So that's what I done. That's been story time with Dale. Hope you enjoyed it. What fungus gets in the corn that causes it to turn the cob kernels white and it looks like a clubfoot? Uh, Man, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name of it. I don't get. I probably shouldn't. I'm probably not as up to par on some of these diseases and stuff that I shouldn't be. That's not a real common thing around here, so I don't really, I just kind of concentrate on the. Butterbean farmer says he would not have paid the bill. Well, now they did a service, and they did get some of the field fertilized, I guess. But I did send them a time bill for my time and effort. So M&J Farm said it's smut. Yep, that's right. All right, guys, we've we've had some really good questions today. I like these good questions, and when y'all really talk back. But there's 49 of you in here, and I know there's some of you I hadn't heard from today. So if you got a question, uh, write a question. I know some of y'all hadn't said anything today. Thought somebody was coming in the house. Michelle, my wife, and Corn Dog and Grace, they're at Vacation Bible School started tonight at church, and they're at church tonight. So. But all right, guys, give me some questions, or we'll call it a day. Let me freshen up my vocalizers. All right, guys, you quiet. Either that or my chat stopped. I don't know which one it is. Let me X out of that window and refresh it and see what happens. Oh, there we go. Butterbean farmer says he hopes the rest of the fertilizer went on the field. Yeah, the only area of the field that did not get all the fertilizer that it should have was about a 40-foot strip up next to the fence road. The wind was hanging, blowing a little bit. I don't know if it was that or if he's too scared to get close to the trees, which I don't blame him there. I wouldn't fly an airplane close to a tree neither. Wes wants to know what kind of corn planter I started with. The first serious corn planter I had is the planter I plant with right now, a John Deere 7000 planter. It's a 8-row 30-inch John Deere 7000 planter. Now my granddad he had a John Deere 400 Cyclo plant, not a John Deere, I'm sorry, a International 400 4-row 38-inch Cyclo planter. And I planted corn with it one year, not much. I was just a kid playing and learning stuff. And he had a 8-row Case IH 800 Cyclo planter, 8-row 30-inch. And I actually took it out to the high school when I was in the ag program, and we planted 12 acres of corn with it. But I never used it to plant any corn for myself. But we planted the corn with it and then shelled it with my granddad's John Deere 4400 combine with a 4-row 30-inch head. Wasn't but 10 foot wide. So, but the first serious corn planter I had is actually the one that I plant with today. We built it in 2013 from the ground up, and then we actually revamped it in 2016. My corn planter I have now actually started out as a 3-point planter, and then we converted it to a drawbar type. And I got a whole video telling about it. If you hadn't seen it, it's called look up High Tech 42-year-old John Deere planter, and it'll I go through and tell all about our John Deere planter that we got. M and J wants to know, have you ever questioned farming and wanting to do anything else? I've never wanted to do anything else but farm. At one point in my life, I thought I would never be able to farm. I thought I wouldn't be able to come up with the resources or the ground or have the ability to. So I actually started out college and went to college to become an ag teacher because I wanted to help other kids in ag, try to get involved in ag. Maybe somebody that's like me, maybe I could help them get started in ag. But it ended up about 2 years into school. I said, I really want to farm, and I don't think I'm going to be happy unless I try to farm. So I made the conscious decision right then and there, halfway through college, that I was going to farm, or I was going to try my best to farm. And I changed majors to first to plant science, and then I done that about a semester, and then changed to farm and ranch management. It wasn't that I didn't like plant science, but on the farm and ranch management program, there were several computer classes where I worked in. We worked in Excel, Microsoft Excel, and stuff, doing spreadsheets and learning some accounting software and stuff like that. And I feel like that would benefit me more. And the stuff I learned through Excel, and then that I can't. It was a math class, but I can't remember it. But it's kind of like a hybrid math class. It combined ag stuff like and we learned a little bit about crop insurance and Excel, and that was probably the one class that benefited me more than anything in college. I remember more about that one class than any of the others I took in college. But no, I did go to start school to become an ag teacher, but I changed it because I knew I wasn't going to be happy unless I tried to start farming. And knock on wood, had my first big crop in 2013, and been farming full time since 2014. So I think it's a pretty cool story. Sometimes dreams do come true. I just hope I can keep the dream alive. Matt said, "Hey, have a good night." He's out. I'll see you, buddy, from Nebraska. Uh, Keith O'Brien said he enjoys seeing the putt putt video. He's talking about our John Deere Model A. I had fun on that video. Sometimes it feels good to just make a fun video and not be so serious and not have a certain format laid out. And we just made that video for the fun of it. Jerry Baker wants to know if our planter is air or a plate type. I think they call it a plate. Technically, they call it a plateless. It is a finger pickup. It has precision planting finger pickup meters. There's a fingers that turn in there, and it picks up the corn seed and lays it on the belt, and then the belt delivers it down to the seed tube. I love my old finger pickups. They got all these ExactEmerge and stuff planters now, but I've experimented with. Technically, I think you're supposed to run 4.5 miles an hour with those meters, but I have been experimenting with increasing my speed on my planter the past couple of years. Started out bumping it up to 5, and then I have run 5.2, 5.3. I don't really see my spacing start to be affected to I get up to 5.5 miles an hour. About 5.2, 5.3 is the max on the max for me on my finger pickups. We run a hydraulic drive. That's what turns the shaft. It turns the meters. Uh, Man, we have great stands with it. I mean, just boom, 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 picket fence stands. I call it. And like I said, I've been experimenting with speed. And the reason I've been doing that is because we've been playing with the idea of going to a bigger planter, maybe upgrading to a 12 row, but we don't want. I just I've got to the point where I hate to spend money on anything. I am a worry. I'm a worry wart. I think we'll need to upgrade something, and then I'll worry myself out of it. Just, well, we don't need to spend the money right now. Most everything I've ever bought, I just regretted it, hated to turn the money loose, and then when I got it, I say, why didn't we do this sooner? But I've just got to the point in my life where I hate to spend money. But IP wants to know, did we upgrade the Duo? No, we still got the Duo. I'm probably gonna keep the Duo. Like I said, getting rid of. I should rephrase this. The Duo is not going anywhere. Now there may be a new piece of tillage equipment come in, but I highly doubt it. But the Duo, I reckon it's got a home. Now we may try to find a nicer Duo, but a Duo will be on my farm as long as I'm farming, I reckon, because there is not a better tool, in my opinion, for airing wet ground than a Duo. Especially behind, last year's bean stubble. Typically, we plant our corn behind last year's bean crop. And if you run it through that bean stubble and put them scratchers down where they scratch about an inch deep, and then you got that chopper that runs over it, chops the clods up, and then the hair smooths it back down. It just does not take a lot of horsepower to pull it. I mean, a turbo till, I think you really need 10 horsepower per foot to pull it, and that would limit us to a 20-foot turbo tail, but I still don't think you would be able to pull it like you should. I think we would need an 18-foot turbo tail. And, a lot of turbo tails have a lot of weight on it to me. And even though you got the disc supposedly run up and down and aren't supposed to create a compaction layer, you can't tell me running all that weight across the field when it's wet don't create a compaction layer. So it looks like to me the lighter the better, and the Duo is super light. So that's the reason we continue to run the Duo. I don't see it going anywhere. Uh, would I like to have a turbo tail? Yes, most definitely. But again, all this stuff takes money, and I try to put my money where I think it would benefit me the most. Sarah B wants to know if Robert has been with us since day one of farming. Uh, Robert's always helped me. When he was in college, he was on the rodeo team, and he was traveling the country rodeoing. He didn't really help me a lot till he graduated college, and even then, he was still trying to rodeo some. Uh, but he eventually come back to the farm. He eventually come back to the farm full time. So, I mean, yes, he's been with me from day one, but there was a time there where he was rodeoing pretty hard. That was pretty well made by myself, which we wasn't near as big as we are at the time. I didn't have as much ground as I do now, so I was able to handle it by myself. But it come to the point I was going to have some help, and it just so happened about that time, Robert kind of gave up the rodeo and he come back to the farm. But all right, guys, we've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. Y'all just y'all I'm trying to make sure I ain't missed anybody. I don't want to miss anybody. Sometimes the way they do this, I'm afraid it hides some people sometimes because it's got a thing where it says it's got a thing called Top Chat, and then it's got a thing called Live Chat, and I try to put it on Live Chat because if you're on Top Chat, I think sometimes maybe it lists the people that comment the most, and I want to make sure that I talk to everybody. So, we've been on about an hour and 10 minutes. I'll stay on about 10 more minutes if y'all got some questions. I'd like to. This has been one of the better live streams I think we've had in a while. Y'all asked some really great questions tonight, and I've enjoyed answering them. So, y'all got any more questions? Y'all let me know because we're gonna wrap it up in a minute or two if there's no more questions. IB Farm says he loves the duo. There are some situations where the duo does not work great. Really heavy residue. Those scratchers act like a giant rake. They just rake up the straw and then you dump it in a big pile. Um, but that's about the only situation where a duo does not work great is in heavy residue situations. See, I'm trying to think. Corn stalks. In the fall, we've tried to run the do all over some. We disc our corn stalks down, and then try to run the do all behind the disc. That does not work great because it kind of does the same thing. It'll catch the scratchers will catch all the corn stalks and bundle them up and ball it up. But we will see you later, IP. So I don't see any more questions, and it's gotten really quiet in here, so we'll wrap it up. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate you watching. Videos are gonna be a little slow in July. Don't really have a lot going on right now, but come August, I imagine things gonna start really picking back up, and we'll have y'all some new and exciting stuff then. So y'all take care, and thank you for watching.